Welcome guys to another video, and today, welcome back to the cruise ship tutorial, but instead, today, I'm actually going to be telling you guys how to lay out entertainment decks, because at this point in the build, this is the next step, and this is, well, there's a lot of important things that goes on inside of cruise ships when you're building them, but one of the main things is making sure you're laying out your ship in a way where it actually makes sense. So basically, we have the atrium here that we built in the last episode, as you can see, looking nice. And then now we have all of this area here, and I made it pretty uniform to where all the entertainment decks are going to be in between the lifeboats. So all of the space, all two decks here, all going to be entertainment. And then I also did some things off camera. I cut off some of the cabins here because this is going to be the kitchen. I decided to make this a kitchen and then save that space on the entertainment deck for actual entertainment, because the ship is already pretty small. And I think all two decks should be fully used of entertainment. And then in the front here, if you're wondering, this is all going to be the theater, which might be the episode after part 2 of the atrium. And I'll show you guys how to build a decent theater. But first of all, we have to go through actually laying out the entertainment decks, because if you see my ships before, you know that laying these things out are so important. Knowing what you're going to build, because building on the spot, it can cause a lot of confusion and a lot of messiness, which is not something you want, because you want your layouts to make sense. You just want things to make sense, because trust me, I've seen a lot of ships where the way the entertainment is laid out, it just does not make sense. And I'll show you some examples here. So yeah, and so some examples I want to show you is I'm here on cruisedeckplans.com, which is easily my favorite website when building these ships, because I go on here, they got, I'll just show you, they have every ship's deck plans pretty much. So they got, everything you could ever need. They got Carnival, Celebrity, Costa, they got Royal Caribbean, they got P&O, they got Norwegian, they got Holland America, Disney, Cunard, they got everything. So I'll show you some examples. So there's a lot of ways you can actually lay your ships out. So two of the examples I will show is the difference between Carnival deck plans and Royal Caribbean layouts. So pretty much we're just going to start with the Carnival Breeze, which is a very nice ship, and I'll show you. So typically on both of these ships, actually, one thing that is similar is here, I'll show you. I think this is deck 4, is that the first entertainment deck pretty much consists of 3 main factors. Usually there's the dining room, and then there's a middle area, and then there's the theaters. And it's the same thing here. First entertainment deck, you have the theater, you have the atrium, and then you got the dining room. And then what changes here is on the mezzanine and the promenade here on Carnival Breeze. You can see that there are 2 walkways. So on both decks, there is a walkway, and it's on the side of the ship, and both decks are reserved to single deck entertainment areas. So you can see you have the casino here, and then you have Ocean Plaza, and then you have the nightclub, and then you have the Limelight Lounge, and then here you have the dining room, and then you have the walkway going around it. You have the casino. Wait, I thought the casino was on. Yeah, okay. I don't know what this deck plan is saying. I don't believe this is a casino, but you have the yeah, so you have, I think this is actually okay, that's weird. Anyways, but you have your walkway on the side here, and then you have the dining room, and then it's the same thing here. You have the walkway on the side going all the way down the ship. And then the thing that Royal Caribbean does differently is you have the walkway down the middle of the ship as opposed to the side. So you have, again, the walkway. They have the giant Royal Promenade, which pretty much takes up all the entertainment decks. Then you have the dining room, and then Absolute Zero at the back. And then same thing, deck 6, it's down the middle, and you have things on the side, compared to the Carnival Breeze, where things are on one side and then the walkway on the other. So that is something you want to keep in mind when building your ship, because it is important to have a main walkway, whether you want to make that like Royal Caribbean, where they have the Royal Promenade, or you want to make that like Carnival ships, which they have a promenade that's on mainly one side, and then you save everything for the other side of the ship. And so now that we're back in the game, we can actually start laying out the ship. So I'm gonna turn my shaders off for this so I can see better, but we have our atrium here. So you wanna, one thing I said in the last video is that I wanted to have the guest services and the future cruises desk or the shore excursion desk in a different room than the atrium, and that is to pretty much save space, because sometimes guest services, especially on like the first 2 days of the cruise, that line can get backed up. So having a separate room for that, I think, is very important. So what I actually did is I thought about this and I decided, I think, and this ties back to what I was saying about Royal Caribbean. If you've seen on my newer ships, I have a promenade deck. It's on Allegiant Reverence, and it's going to be on Empress 2. And so I wanted to have that, except I wanted to save some space to have some guest services, and then maybe a future cruises desk right here, so you have them close together, but also right next to the atrium, so there's easy access. And then this can just be a walkway out, and I can quickly paste this down, and I can actually go very down, because this, and you'll see in a second. So here, this is going to be an opening to a 2-deck area. So this should be the floor here. Yep. So there would be an opening here, and then it will curve out, and so there will be an opening in the middle, but that will be down here because, well, obviously you have these rooms here. So I'm going to make a marker there, and I'm going to go 3 blocks because I think that is a serviceable amount that you can have. And then this opening, it doesn't have to be huge. I think 7 blocks in the middle is fine, because that also gives you an adequate amount of space on either side to, you know, sort of build a couple of things. So now we can just take this and we can stack it down about maybe 20 blocks, because I think, okay, maybe a little bit more actually, because I think this is a smaller ship. And so obviously this promenade area, it can't be that big because it cannot take up all the entertainment space. So now you have to keep in mind what you want to do for the rest of this deck. And what I was thinking is, I think a casino would go very well here. We can get rid of this. I'm not sure what this is doing here, but I also don't think that's right. I think, okay, there needs to be slabs here. Okay. And then back here, this is going to be the dining room. And so we can easily mark this off because we can just put a block right here going down. So what I want to hear is, I wanted this to be the casino. And now the casino is a very big part of the ship, but it doesn't have to be super big. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the casino here, and then I'm going to try to put 2 entertainment areas on the corners here. And so I'll start laying that out. So I think if the casino ends here, then the way we can do this is we can have, it's a little long actually. No, that's a decent size for the casino. We can have a walkway continue here, so it can be kind of like mirrored to what that was doing over there. So we can have that there. We can have this here, so it's like a nice little long walkway, and then we can actually extend this maybe by like 5 blocks. Oops, I don't know what I did there. 55. I'm gonna make sure that this is right. Okay, it's odd. That's also another thing. Something I like to have when I'm building like these overlays is I like to have the blocks in the middle as an odd number, so that way you can actually have like a center. Yeah, so that's a useful command. It's such a center, so you can find the center block. I like having it as 1 block rather than 2, as opposed to even numbers, because I just feel like that's a lot easier to work with. And so yeah, now we have our walkway, and then we can build 3 blocks. So it's there, and then you have these sort of outlets here, which you can put like anything here. You can put like a sports bar, which I think actually one of these is going to be a sports bar, and then the other can be a lounge, or, you know, whatever. Now I'm actually going to have it curve in like this. And then I can have them on the same side. And then actually, you can stack this down because this is going to be a wall regardless. Yeah, so yep. And down, make sure it's even. So the curve is even. So I did do that. Oh. Okay, like that. So we can have that, and then you can actually have an exit out to the lifeboat deck here on both sides. And then you can have like a wall here and have it one block in, and then stack this down as well. Just like this. Same thing on this side. Stack it down and connect it. So now you have your basic outline for what is going to be the promenade. And then you have your casino here, so you can stack this down too. And then this will all be the dining room. So just 1 floor for that. And then this will be the casino. And then that will probably be the sports bar. And then here you can have a lot of things here. So one thing I will do is I'd get a sign and I would just start labeling what these will be. So this will be guest services. This will be future cruises. Over here, sports bar, casino. And then I think if I want to like, no, I won't do that. Okay. And then just the dining room. All right. So now it's time to sort of figure out what we're doing here. And actually, I don't know where the glass went, but I'm going to try to find the center again. And then you'll see what I'm doing here. So one thing I always like having on these sort of promenade decks is having a sort of asymmetric thing in them. So I'm gonna get my spruce block. All right. Anyways, as I was saying, you see this on the Illusion, Reverence, and Empress is that I have these asymmetric values to the promenade area because I think it looks better than, you know, some boring design. Like, I mean, for example, I wouldn't call it boring, but just the atrium where you got these spruce supports going up each side. I just think it's good for an atrium, but if you want to have like some sort of charactership, then having something asymmetric in it just makes it look so much better. So we can start here by just building up. And over here, same thing. And then you can also build up here. And so it sort of sticks out a little bit like this. And there you go. So you have some sort of nice little design there. And then over here, I like to have something stick out here like this. And then the same thing on the other side, except on the opposite side here. So it's actually 6, so that works. All right, there we go. So like that. And then on one side here, I'm gonna put I'm gonna put that on this side. So I like having a bar here. It's called the Founder's Bar. I think it fits well in this area of the ship. It's similar to the Schooner's Bar on Royal Caribbean, but I'm not copying them in my store. And then again, we can have the same sort of walkway down here, and then we can figure out something that can go different here. But like this. And so on this side, you can't put like a room here, but I think maybe we push it back one, give it 3 blocks to breathe rather than just 2 for a bar. Just like this. then you can just have this go down. And then here, actually, this is going to be an open area. Probably seating, if I had to guess. So we actually don't have to put anything there. But then having a little area there. So we can figure out what this is going to be. And then this will probably be the same thing. Where it will just be a little area, you know. And then you have your exit out to the decks on each side. It's like this. And then here we can just build this down. And then we can make this an ice cream parlor. So build that there, and then this can just be seating for that bar, and then this can just be an ice cream parlor. And then you have your founder's bar. Make sure it's even. Okay. And then this is typically a sandwich shop, so like a deli, I guess. Then down here, all these are just going to be shops. So we can lay those out area when we actually do the shopping episode. Actually, one of these areas isn't, though. One of these areas is just a bar, and I'm trying to figure out where to put that. I think here would be the best area. So this is actually going to be clam bar, which is on every ship I build. So yeah, so now that we have this deck sort of figured out as to what we're doing, we can figure out what we're going to do on this deck. And obviously you can see there's a lot more space. So one thing I like to do is I like to have in my casinos, I like to have an opening. So we can do that here. And then it doesn't have to be a big opening. It just has to be 3x3 opening. So this gives way to have an even area where you can have restaurants on each side. So like this, we can just figure it out like that. Have it go all the way around, just a nice little square, and you can open up 4 restaurants. But you also need an opening here, just saying. And then you need something to go here. So that is actually interesting. And I'm actually thinking of doing something different for this ship. I'm thinking about having the walkway go here and like down to here where the parlor is, and then having like the steakhouse right here. So having it go like, maybe do this, and then having the steakhouse go all the way down. And then, so you have the steakhouse on that side, and then you can have your opening here. So it's kind of like the carnival thing I was showing, where you have the walkway on the side. And I want to make sure this is at least 5. Okay, 5 blocks, that's perfect. Have this go down. Like this, and then just delete this. So there you go. And then you can touch it up and make it look nice and not as ugly. It's like this. And then actually, there's really not room here. I can't lie, there's really not a lot of room here. So we're gonna have to figure out something, and then maybe do this. So it goes in here, and then it goes out there, and then that leads to a lounge, and then you have this entire area to do something else. And then another thing I wanted to have a staircase somewhere here. But I don't exactly know if that's possible. Yeah, I don't think it is. But yeah. Okay, and I'm lagging now. That's great. Okay. Don't tell me my game just, oh my goodness. All right. So we have that there. So that would be this block then. Goes 3. And then it goes, that matches up pretty well. How about that? Like this, so it's even on both sides. There you go, you have a little plaza area. Like that. So you have the walkway go in, and then it goes around, and then it goes out there. And then you have this entire area to do something. Probably a restaurant of sorts. And then, what, this is going to be the steakhouse. And then this can be like a something. I don't know. So this will be the Windy City Pizza. Then this will be the steakhouse. Whatever you name it. We're going to name it something. And then stack this down there. So now you have all of that laid out. And then, excuse me, back here is just going to be a lounge. So you don't really have to lay anything out there. It's just going to be a lounge. You got kitchen on this deck, lounge on the, dining room on this deck, and then lounge on this deck. So you don't really have to do anything there. But that is actually pretty much all the entertainment space. This is a pretty small ship. I'm just going to try to make sure we didn't forget anything that might be needed. But I don't think we did. So I think that actually covers everything. So, alright. I think, actually, what do we want to put here? Let me make sure there isn't room over here to build something. No, I think that's, because this is the only dining room on the ship, so I think all of that actually has to be the dining room. So we can put Izzy's Jazz Bar here. And then these will all be shops, guest services, future cruises. Here, there's really, this being seating over here, there's a couple things you could probably put here because we already have a jazz bar. You could put like a nice little piano lounge, I guess. Like a piano lounge, and then, yeah, maybe just a conference center. Because those are pretty important to have on cruises. Every ship has one, if you didn't know. Pretty big steakhouse, can't lie, but steakhouses are a pretty big deal. Actually, I'm gonna make this another opening. And then this will be the main promenade. And yeah, that is how you lay out a ship. And then you have the theater over here. Also, don't forget bathrooms. I'll probably build those in while I'm actually finishing the ship, but that is how you lay out a cruise ship. Entertainment decks. So obviously, I encourage you to do something different. I don't want you to just directly copy me. You can do that. There's no shame in doing that, but something that is really important when building these ships is to just be creative. Because there's really no wrong answer when building a ship. I know I said earlier that, layouts can be messy, but if you're a beginner, there's nothing wrong with trying things out and figuring out what works and what doesn't. So just be creative. It's Minecraft, it's a game. Being creative is just the most important part of all this. But yeah, I encourage you to do your own thing and be creative, but also make sure it makes sense. But yeah, because even I know some of my layouts can be messy sometimes. Maybe not with interior, but definitely exterior. But I just encourage you to be creative. Use your mind, do fun stuff. But yeah, that's actually all I have for this video. Again, make sure to like, subscribe, and do as you wish. Yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.